Usually when your backs are pushed against the wall, you have, well, two options. One is to stay there and wait for whatever is threatening you to just relent. And the other is to come out swinging. Team India has those two options as well, and we've seen this Team India go fighting. This is the second T20I between India and Australia in Nagpur. India trailing 1-0. Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Tanay Tiwari, and with me, two people, the same usual suspects. Bhattacharjya, Ajay Jadeja. Welcome, gentlemen. And today, AJ has pushed my fashion game back to the wall. Really back to the wall. This is on fleek, AJ. Lovely jacket.
Not bad, no?
Sir, this is too good.
I tell you, because I wear boring blue, black, grey. So I was, asked by a friend, it was almost a dare. Can you wear a red? I said, what's wrong? I just need to wear some clothes. People watching may not like it, but I can always wear it. So it's one of those dares, and it's warning sign as well. Like you said, you're right.
It is.
You're being pushed to the wall. And the unfortunate part is that you've already tried swinging all the way. And you're still now at the back of the wall, so it's danger signs.
Danger signs they are. But first, updates first. Of course, the toss has been delayed right now in Nagpur because of all the overnight rain in Nagpur. So there's no rain right now, but the inspection will happen at 7 p.m. because the outfield is still wet. And while that may have some sort of complications in terms of the pitch, in terms of the outfield, etc. But this will just give more nervous times to both the captains as to what to do once the toss happens.
True, but I think whenever there's generally by and large, whenever there's a rain-delayed game or a place where rain is threatening throughout, I think fielding first is almost invariably the option, no matter what the state of the ground. The second thing is that because if it rains, the other thing is that if it rains, it gives you a sheen on the pitch. So what happens is the ball basically will not the ball will not hold. So spinners will sort of come on faster. It's easier to bat when it rains. So they'll definitely try and wait. And in situations like this, you want the other guy to do the calculations. What is the most difficult calculation in a cricket match? The most difficult calculation in a cricket match is a team going out first, batting first on a pitch he hasn't seen before, and deciding what is a good score. Because on that basis, everything else is set. And in situations like this, that's a moving target. What's a good score in 15 overs? What's a good score in 10 overs? So you'd rather be on the other side and say, I know what score to get. I know how many overs I have to get them. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Now, we saw the pitch report from Ravi Shastri from the ground, AJ, and he said this looks very two-paced wicket because it's been under covers, it's been sweating, and there are parts which are dry, parts which are moist. But there was a very interesting observation that you made that the colour of the pitch in Nagpur usually looks something like your jacket, but looks very different now.
Yeah, but it was interesting because when we heard Ravi Bhai talk and he said, the greyness of that pitch because, Jamta that I remember, which is not, many years ago, few years ago also, it was all red soil. And we have this, difference in red soil, which is in this part of, where we are at the moment, Mumbai, Maharashtra, and further south, you get those red soil wickets which have more bounce. And as you go closer to your plain, Ganga and Jamuna plain, it's all grey soil. So I was a little surprised. Maybe there has been a change as well because what happens is in the monsoon season is when you relay wickets sometimes. And when you relay, you have, soil, and no soil can be same because what you'd brought in 10 years ago, even if you go back to the same place, sometimes it changes. So I'm 100% not sure, but it looks like as if, this pitch has been relayed and, probably new soil's been added or they've changed the whole nature. It'll be interesting to see. But, the danger sign again, today is all about danger now that we're in red zone. Danger sign is both the teams would not be very keen to play this game. Don't forget, you're not too far from the World Cup. And I understand. From players' point of view, from the broadcasters' point of view, from the fans' point of view who are out there waiting for a game to happen in Nagpur. They want this game to happen, even if it's a 10-over game or a 15-over game. But, you have to take players into account as well. And those two coaches of those teams, I think will probably have a bigger role to, decide whether this ground gets fit in time or is it fit enough to play. Because, of course, any ground you can play, there's an ideal situation. And then there is a situation where it can be a little off or a little wet. You still carry on because, the crowds have come. There's a reason for everybody being there. But just before the World Cup, who would want to take a chance? Would you like your premier fast bowler or your premier batsman or your captain to pull a groin and be out of the tournament and, risk all that? So today, it'll be interesting for me to see, whether the umpires and the match referees still do hold power or they will bend towards the players.
Wow, that's a very interesting aspect to it all. And we've got a question around this as well. Hashtag Ask Cricbuzz Live question that we've got. This also surrounds injuries because, I mean, Team India has had its own tryst with some injuries in recent times. Pravesh has sent this question. He says, why has Umesh Yadav been drafted into the starting 11 while Deepak Chahar warms the bench? Is Chahar not fit enough to take the field? If so, how can he travel to Australia as a standby? Now, Joy, this is very interesting because Umesh Yadav hadn't played a T20I in, 3 years now? And suddenly he comes in and Deepak Chahar is still out there.
Yeah, I mean, Umesh Yadav is basically being rewarded for his performance in the IPL. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the only explanation, we were looking at it and puzzling over it as well, because you have far more options. You have Shardul Thakur who's nearby playing India A. You have Deepak Chahar out here. He was sitting out there. Siraj and, is playing outside there. Siraj has played many more T20s this year than T20 internationals than he has. The only explanation I can think of is that they think of him as a like-for-like bowler with some amount of pace and swing early to replace. But even that doesn't hold much weight because, if you're looking at swinging the ball early, perhaps the best, Deepak Chahar is probably the best alternative if he's 100% fit. So it is a bit paradoxical about why they replaced him and why they replaced Shami with him. I mean, with Shami is something that I still don't understand.
Yeah.
It's also this few puzzling decisions out there over the last year which I'm sort of struggling to get my head around.
Yeah, correct. But on Deepak Chahar, Ajay, I mean, Joy's absolutely right. If you're taking Deepak Chahar on that flight to Australia as a standby, which means he's there in your reserves, he will play at some point if something unfortunate happens to one of your pacers. And then you bring in Umesh Yadav ahead of Deepak Chahar, who still needs miles in his legs. I mean, he only played in that Zimbabwe series. A lot of game time will help him, of course. Should he not have played there?
Yeah, if he was fit, I have no doubts that he would have played. I'm presuming here. I mean, I have no knowledge why he didn't play, but that would be the only reason. Otherwise, you'd have him because you brought him in, like you said, he came in Zimbabwe. He played the first game, rested the second one, played the third again. So, you're bringing him into the game. And maybe, when they picked this side, because this side had to be picked before the 16th, before the series started. And if you're looking to the World Cup, you look at somebody and say, okay, he's coming back. We've seen him in a couple of games. Within a month's time, he'll be at top peak fitness. But suddenly then you've got Bumrah also who's not available. Then you've got Arshdeep who's been sent. I don't know what is happening in Bangalore. Something special happens
work
there.
Is what they've said. Yeah.
Sorry?
Conditioning related work is something that they've said.
Yeah, because that baffles me at times.
Okay.
How can there be a setup in this country which is not there already with the Indian cricket team? I mean, if any organization, if you have your best setup, whether it's your physios, whether it's your trainers, whether it's your training schedule,
they should be traveling with you.
Absolutely.
So they should actually be traveling with the team, and I'm presuming that's what they do. I mean, Indian team does a fabulous job. I mean, what they have now is unheard of anywhere else in the world. But something seems to be happening in Bangalore, which I cannot figure out because Arshdeep is a young man. The man's just around unless he's got injury. So either, we don't know what's happening, which is actually the true case. But what is happening in Bangalore, I can certainly, put my foot down and say, listen, there is something wrong in our system. If the players who are coming back into the system or need to be rehabilitated or needed to be, getting them fitter, cannot happen with the cricket team. The Indian cricket team should have the best guys that are available to you. So if they are with the team and if they, instead of going there, they can, be alongside the team, especially the guys who are going to be part of this team. You create a bond, you create time, you spend time together. We keep hearing this.
Yeah.
But so if the guys are being sent to Bangalore, I don't know whether, there is some religious ritual that's going on or some other kind of ritual, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Practically, the best equipment, the best people, the best technology, the best people should be with the top Indian team.
Correct.
So if anybody needs to be, serviced or, this is not like a car garage that you'd send somebody to, a garage because you can't afford a garage in the middle of the city in Mumbai, so you need more space. Yeah. It's not about space. So it has been baffling, and it is unbelievable what's gone on in the last a few months also.
That's a very interesting observation also, Joy, because come the South Africa series, Hardik Pandya and Bhuvneshwar Kumar both will go to the NCA for conditioning related work as well.
What?
Which means what he's saying is correct. If you need to have a proper setup where players can go for conditioning related work, why not have it with the best team? I mean, your international team is your top priority.
Or they're thinking that, they're going to get individual attention. But exactly as he said, that if you need individual attention, the Indian team has enough resources to have somebody there giving them individual attention if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm presuming that.
Yeah, the setup is there. See, the other interesting part about it is, here's my situation. I have my 3 top bowlers. I feel all of them are not 100% fit. So somebody say, so if you're looking at Bumrah, they're saying that, okay, he's not 90%, 95%. Chahar is somewhere there, probably 90, 85, 90, 95%. You have a situation where Arshdeep also you feel needs a bit more work to go in. Now the point is they're too good for you to say that they're not part of your World Cup plans. But you're in an unfortunate situation where you have no, except for Bhuvi, who's having a terrible time with the ball, you have nobody who's a 100% fit bowler who you're continuously having. So you're bringing out options from elsewhere to fit in that place. And that's, I think, the problem with the Indian team. They feel they cannot afford not to pick the likes of Bumrah and, of course, not to pick the likes of Deepak Chahar. But because they're not fully fit, they don't want to play them either. And it's a bind. Their feeling is that they can't drop them either. They want to keep them in the standbys. So I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place because to not take them is difficult. But everyone's turning around and saying, if they're not fit, why isn't somebody else playing?
Correct.
So
and it's not like you don't have the talent pool.
Yeah, it's a strange one. But they want to pick the best bowlers.
Absolutely.
And they feel that they'll be ready by then.
Yeah.
But till then, they're in a very uncomfortable position and they're sweating it. I think every time everyone asks them, they are probably calling up every day and says, is he fit today? Is Bumrah ready to play today?
But if they were, with you, rather than being in another city,
it's easier.
Because I'm just trying to put a situation together. You are at an important game and forget World Cup, any game. You got to make a call whether he should play, X should play or not play. Who's the person who's going to take that call? One, it has to be the player, the way I see it, because nobody knows his body or his fitness more than him. But okay, we don't trust the player, so you have systems in place. So if you have a system in place, the physio or the person who's going to, trainer who's going to check how fit he is, how fat, fat or how fit he is it easier to do it here or have a third person make a call? It's almost become like a corporate world where, the boss never takes a decision. He always gives juniors, niche se aate raho, paperwork pakka karo. When you get to the top, with me, I should not be answerable. If something goes wrong, I asked the specialist to look at it. The specialist didn't look at it. The specialist who's with the team needs to feel comfortable that this man is fit to play or not. So what's happening there is, I don't know. I think Traveller Man has to make a trip to Bangalore now.
Certainly so. Certainly so. But the one specialist that everyone, at least all of India fans, want back in Team India pronto is Jasprit Bumrah. Now, he's of course been struggling with injuries. The first T20I also, Rohit Sharma said at the toss that we're trying to ease him in, and perhaps this was the game, the second T20I, where the toss is of course delayed because of a wet outfield. This is where Jasprit Bumrah could have made a comeback. Now, it's also very interesting because there's a T20 World Cup coming up, and with the kind of miles that you need as a bowler, the rhythm that you need as a bowler, even Jasprit Bumrah, he needs that game time as well.
He needs that game time, but is he ever going to get game time on a pitch where the outfield is wet? Would you try Jasprit Bumrah today? Yeah. Of all these days, on a wet outfield, would you try Jasprit Bumrah today? Would you look at your Rolls Royce and say, it's bad weather, but there's raining a bit, but let's take him out anyway? You wouldn't. You'll say, I'll keep it in the garage. Let me see the next place. There may be nice warm weather out there. I'll take him out there. That's the problem. They're looking every day, and that's, you see, once Trevor Bayliss, who's now again the coach of Punjab, when he was in Kolkata, he said one thing. He said, there are many things a cricket team needs. It needs this, it needs that. But the thing it needs most is luck. A set of players being fit at the right time. 1, 2 key players going off due to injury or not 100% fit makes a huge difference. So, I can understand the Indian management sweating it and looking at it day by day saying, yeah, we want to play Bumrah, but I'm not going to risk. He's going to slide in the outfield and one thing happens, I'm not taking
No, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. But the problem is, AJ, it's a catch-22 situation. You don't play him in this game, then you've got just 4 games before the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, but if you're caught in this situation, you take the easier option. I will go with Joyda. I don't have a Rolls Royce, but if I had one, I would not take it out in this monsoon.
Yeah, not go off-roading at all.
No, not off-roading. Wait, the sun's going to come out.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get 4 games, you'll get 2 games, practice games. In Australia, you'll have enough time. If you are in that situation, somebody can get injured even on a dry outfield. It's not that on a wet outfield you will have an injury. It's just that it's possible more often. So you would not take a chance. And because if you've taken a chance in one game, he hasn't played, then, I would be surprised. And especially if this game we are already here. What time is it? So if it
It's
gets delayed,
6:47, yeah.
so it gets
It's delayed.
delayed. It'll be a shorter game. The game's not going to be played the same way that normally you are preparing for. So it would probably be a day that just probably would rest. Even if he was going to play, if there must have been plans already.
Yeah.
You would have planned last night. He's going to play. He's fit enough. You get to the ground. You watch. You see this ground has got wet. You got a shorter game. A wise decision would be to say, okay, let him rest one more game. Why take a chance?
Wow.
Yeah. Wrap him in cotton wool.
Yeah,
keep
maybe a
this
couple of other guys. I would say even a couple of other guys. If you have some key players that you think that we'll struggle without them in the World Cup.
Yeah,
This is a risk-taking day. It's a danger day. That's why I wore this red.
This
It's a
is
warning
that
sign.
colour. Yes, correct. So we're assessing dangers right now, of course, because the toss has been delayed in Nagpur because of a wet outfield. It's not raining right now, but there was a lot of overnight rain because of which, of course, the outfield is wet and the toss has been delayed. But the one thing that we won't delay before we go is the joy factor question. We should give them full chance, no?
Yeah, let them go.
Let's
for
have a
it.
look
Let
at
them
the
go for it,
question
and
for joy
it's a nice, easy, juicy ball.
Okay.
5 Pakistan-born players have topped ICC's T20 international ranking since 2005. 3 of them are Umar Gul, who was a great bowler, Saeed Ajmal, of course, and Shahid Afridi. Name the other 2.
Okay, I think I know one. I don't know I know one. I'm pretty sure I know one. Do I get half the points? 50% of what
I'll
will I
tell you
get?
later. I'll tell
Half
you.
points you get because you got the one who's from the southern hemisphere, who's playing in the southern hemisphere. Am I right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything.
That's a
I'm
big
not
hint.
saying
It just
anything.
dropped a big hint. Send in your answers using hashtag Cricbuzz Live. That's all the time that we have right now because, of course, we'll come back once the toss happens and once there's update around the teams, and then we'll talk about the combinations because there's so much to talk about. Remember, India trailing in this series 1-0, but this is the time for us to go now. Keep those notifications on your Cricbuzz apps. We'll be back the moment the toss happens with the teams coming out. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, JB, for joining us. We'll be back soon. तो हम तो यहीं बैठते हैं. आप लोग जाइए, होकर आइए. You are watching Cricbuzz Live. See you super soon.